Welcome to the Cardinals Squad Show. My name is Benjamin Garcia, host of the Ben Garcia Show, host of Locked On Phoenix Suns. The Combine is officially here, and Mike and Monti Ossenfort talked about some options at pick number 3, including trading down. Where will the Cardinals select, and what is the correct choice for them? We'll talk about it.
I'm Jamil Douglas, former NFL offensive lineman. The Cardinals are the favorites to land Malik Willis. Will they make a play for him?
Alex Clancy, Locked On Cardinals. Listen, man, I don't know what the hell we're going to talk about, but we're going to tell you. We're going to tell you. We got a lot more. Let's get it.
Rise up, Red Sea. It's the Cardinals Squad. Everything Arizona Cardinals every week. Covering all the big hits and game-changing plays from the Valley of the Sun. The way only the Locked On Podcast Network can. Gear up and squad up. The Cardinals Squad Show starts now.
What's up? Thanks for hanging out with us on this Tuesday edition of the Cardinals Squad Show. We got a lot of things to get into, but first, hit that like, hit that share, hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much for tuning in with us. And don't forget to become an everydayer here on YouTube by hitting that subscribe button and knowing Cardinals Squad Show is free and available on all platforms. We got a lot of things to talk about. The NFL Combine has begun, and it feels like, golly, it just snuck up on us. And we've got dates out the galore coming up. Pretty soon, Kyler Murray, they got to make a decision on his contract and if they're going to get rid of him. We've got the Combine, we got the draft, we got the free agency sneaking up here. The NFL does it perfectly. Let's start with options at number 3. Today, Monti Ossenfort took to the podium and said a whole lot of words, none of which really felt like meant anything, outside of one thing that kind of stuck out a little bit. Monti Ossenfort said, "Who knows if we're even picking at number 3? So why are you basically asking me those questions?" I'm paraphrasing, of course, but Clancy, let's talk about options at number 3. And let's start with, have you ever thought about the Cardinals potentially trading down from pick number 3? Because there's no way they're trading up, right?
No, of course I've thought about them trading down. I wanted them to trade down with Marvin Harrison Jr. I wanted them to trade down from number 3 with Will Johnson going there, and with them taking Paris at 6. Just one quick thing, one quick disclaimer here. The only press conference that's less substantive than a head coach introductory press conference is a Combine press conference. They ain't telling you jack. They don't care. This is all pomp and circumstance so they can see and hopefully not leak who they're going to take at 3 like Cliff Kingsbury and Steve Keim did with Kyler Murray at number 1 overall. For me, if they're not seeking one of the top 2 pass rushers in the draft, I'd be cool with them trading down to 5, 6, 7. They'd be able to get either Spencer Fano or Francis Mawigoa. They'd be able to get another pick, and they need as many picks as possible moving forward. So I could see it. Also, keep it simple, stupid. Maybe just pick the best player available, hopefully the best right tackle, and you just move on. But yeah, Monty did it his first draft, man. He was free balling his first draft. He didn't care. So anything.
Yeah, but okay. Before we get to Jamil, though, because that's he did do that. And people would argue it was the wrong decision because of how
you would argue.
Yeah, I would. But I'm just throwing it out there for everyone. For sure, I would. Do you think he no, I'm not. I think it's the wrong decision, but not to say it was a bad decision because you could have made a better decision. Well, I think it was the worst decision. Yeah, because I think Paris Jones Jr. is a good player. Like I don't want to act like he's a terrible player. Okay.
It's easy. Just listen. It's easy when you have the results now to say it was a good decision or a bad decision. It was a great decision to get an extra first-round pick, an extra second-round pick that year that they used to move back up to number 6, and they got 2 first-round picks in 2024 because of it. Plus, they got Garrett Williams out of it. Okay, so we can't be results-driven when it comes to that move. I thought it was a great move at the time, and most did.
Do you think he feels because of his record? Maybe any hesitancy to not do that again because it doesn't look great? No? Okay.
No, absolutely not. Jamil, so we've talked back and forth whether it's pass rusher, best player available, there's no offensive tackle at the top 10 best player available, whatever it is. Is a trade back directly correlated to the position group they're targeting, or is it a package thing to acquire more picks if they were to trade back?
I think it would be to acquire more picks. If that's a good question. I think it would be to acquire more picks. I'm taking what he said as he's trying to put this State of the Union out that they are open to teams calling them and having a conversation because they do believe that maybe a right tackle may be there later in the first round, so maybe number three is very enticing for a lot of teams, should be enticing for the Cardinals. I believe that if you stay at number 3, you still need to take your tackle, but I get it. It might be a little too high considering where, other teams' needs are, and maybe these teams maybe teams don't draft a tackle until later in the first round. So I'm taking that as they want more picks, and also they believe that the person that they want to draft will be available later in the round. That being said, like we talked about last week, the Cardinals are not in a position to draft based off luxury. They have to fix holes. The biggest one to me, your run game has struggled and you've given up a lot of pressures, sacks. You have to go and make the right move and draft an offensive lineman.
Now, one quick question, the best possible thing for the Cardinals, it's two-pronged. One, a quarterback shoots up the rankings. During the combine, during their pro days, people will fall in love. There's a world where Ty Simpson could go top 15. We have no idea. Okay,
sure.
Everybody says no,
for sure.
And then it happens, especially if there's questions surrounding Fernando Mendoza. Well, it's like maybe is Fernando Mendoza not that much better? Maybe Ty Simpson's better. Whatever it is, we see it every year. That's one. Number two, it is centralized around the wide receiver position, in my opinion. Say Jordan, even though Jordan Tyson's not going to partake in the combine because of his hamstring issues, maybe it's the Lemon kid or the kid out of Ohio State, where it's like, listen, 4 teams want him. One team will move up, give a second-round pick to move up 4 spots to get their guy. Like, there are 2 or 3 dudes who are going to go probably in the top 8 or top 10 that teams may want to leapfrog for. You want competition for those picks, and the Cardinals could reap the benefits. Other than that, this is a terrible draft to trade back.
Yeah. I mean, sorry, Ben. I think
go.
Being at number 3 is the best thing, and it's also the worst thing for the Cardinals because you could essentially draft the player that you want outside of whoever the first 2 picks are. One being Fernando Mendoza. We don't know exactly who's going to be 2, but you can essentially just envision that you're going to get the guy that you want. But also that pick being at number 3, a lot of teams will make a play for that because there are teams that truly are one person away from, turning their whole offense or defense around. And so it could all backfire if they choose to trade back. I'm of the essence, you got that pick, you got that position in the draft for a reason. Take advantage of it, get the guy that you need that will fix whatever you're trying to fix and go from there.
Yeah. And also you could throw Caleb Downs in there also. If you say a player away, Caleb Downs is looked at. Like, say there are crazier things have happened. Say the Chiefs are like, you know what, we want our safety for the future. We're going to move up from 9. Or the Giants are 1 or 2 players away with John Harbaugh, and they need a safety they can trust. They can move up from 5 or 6 wherever they're drafting. Like, there are players that teams will move up for. So that would be the impetus for the Cardinals moving back, and I don't think seeking that trade back.
Do you guys think Monti Ossenfort, like if they are going to trade back, let's say whatever we think they do, they think they don't. It does mean, correct, that they will be going after an offensive lineman, right? They feel like Spencer Fano or Francis Mawigoa will be there.
Not necessarily.
I mean, one could think, but
They're assuming. Like, I don't know who's got the 9th overall, the Chiefs, right?
The Chiefs.
They would assume that one of those guys is going to fall, and that's who they're targeting, right?
Well, it depends. I don't think it's necessary. Once you lose control, you don't have the control anymore. It's not like you're trading back to 12 like they did with Houston with the goal to trade back into the top 5. Sure, I'm sure that was part of it. You need a trade partner as well. But like for this specifically, a lot is going to – this is TBD until the free agency happens. Like it's obviously every year for that. But you've got Wyatt Teller and Joel Bitonio, 2 of the premier guards that are going to be on the market. If you can get a guy to play right guard, that would be a huge, huge signifier to draft a right tackle. Like, why would you bring one in and leave the right tackle position by itself? If they can't get anybody, maybe they punt and draft in the 2nd and 3rd round. Like, Free agency will tell a lot more about what they're doing. But I don't think that they're going to signify one or the other for trading back. You lose all control, most control at that point.
If the Cardinals go offensive tackle, and this is kind of what I was leading to, if they are trading back, I would assume it's for an offensive lineman of some sorts. Do you think Monti Ossenfort then feels the pressure to get the best right tackle? Do you feel like there's any pressure for him to nail that Spencer Fano is definitely better than Francis Mawigoa, or Francis Mawigoa is definitely better than Spencer Fano? Because we dealt with this with Marvin Harrison Jr., right? Where the argument was, well, he's just so much better than Malik Neighbors and Ladd McConkey and Brian Thomas Jr. Do you think he feels the pressure that he has to get the right guy, Jamil?
Absolutely. Yeah, but listen, this is the hard part, right? We just watched a guy in Will Campbell get slaughtered about his rookie season, you know?
Yeah.
And if you look up the stats of a Lane Johnson, a Trent Williams, guys like that, they had similar rookie years. The one anomaly, Joe Alt, great rookie year. A guy that is probably going to be one of the best tackles in the league when, if he continues to stay healthy and whatever. Offensive line is different. And so you can draft one of these guys and you can say, you can put all the pressure on the world. The fact of the matter is this person's stepping into a starting job as a touted first-round pick, and he's got to block the best edge rushers on the field. There's no more, the left tackle blocks the best guy and the right tackle is the second best. There's no more of that. You got to have two tackles to be great. And so he's going to have pressure. I don't think, unfortunately, I don't think that the game or the people that have watched the game have taken into the account that it is hard for guys to come in their rookie year at a tackle position and be effective. And so I don't want to put too much merit in it, but it's a huge pick for Monty, given where the coaching staff is now, hiring a new coach, new staff, and then this is kind of his prove it year, in my opinion.
Well, yeah. I mean, and that's true. But I mean, to Monty's credit, like GMs don't get fired as much as head coaches. They just don't. I mean, with the frequency. But to Jamil's point, and I want to ask you a follow up with that, Jamil, because you played the position, obviously. Like the amnesia that people have about the offensive line from last year is instant, and I don't understand it. Yeah. It's instant. I don't get it. Like it's if you look at Spencer Fano, he played left tackle and right tackle. Okay. Francis Mawigoa is 6'7", and he's great in pass pro and run block. So for me, I understand pass rusher is a premium position. The most premium position in football is offensive line as an entity. Mm-hmm. So when you look at Jamil, so say they bring in Wideteller, okay, and you pop him at right guard, and talk to me about how important and borderline. I know he's getting older, but like he was an All-Pro, I believe, at some point. Like talk to me about how important that would be to the progression of a young right tackle instead of having Isaiah Adams on.
No, for sure. No, listen, I love the idea of bringing in a veteran right guard, someone off the free agency market that has seen a lot of ball, played a lot of football games. I don't need him to be the best, right guard out there that's available, but someone that is experienced and can play, has been an All-Pro or a Pro Bowler, whatever you want to call it. I love that. I love bringing in a veteran, especially to the whole offensive line room, which this group doesn't have, one of those old heads that has seen a lot of ball, played a lot of ball. They don't, I mean, you could talk about Will Hernandez, but Will Hernandez was hurt, and he's coming off of, an injury and things like that. But I love it. I love the idea of I draft a young guy. I'm going to pair him with an older guy who can teach him the ropes, who can communicate to him. It's not too stressful for him to communicate during a game situation because he's seen it all. And I think that pays dividends in the long run when you're talking about spending a first-round draft pick on a right tackle.
That's right. And Ben, one last thing that you brought up that was interesting is people think that every top 10 offensive guard or offensive tackle needs to be Trent Williams. Like the best case or the best reminder of that.
He's a unicorn. He's a unicorn.
Yeah, right. And he may get released. So by Trent Williams, or Trent Williams may get released. Andrew Thomas is a great example. So he went number 4
Yeah, he was
overall
really
to the Giants. He was cheeks for the first 2
He's
years of his
terrible.
career, and then he figured it out.
Mhm.
Like, it could go the other way. Jedrick Wills was really good early and then tapered off. Tristan Wirfs has been great since his rookie year with Tom Brady. Like, there's varying degrees, but drafting Paris Johnson Jr. at number 6 overall and having him be your left tackle, top 12 left tackle for 12 years is 1,000% worth the 6th overall pick. It doesn't need to be Lane Johnson or Trent Williams for it to be worth the pick. And I think that's one of the biggest issues that people are having. It's like, you're expecting Hall of Fame or bust. It's not that with most draft picks. So to answer your question long-windedly, that's kind of why I'm like, yeah, take an offensive tackle. It doesn't have to be great. It just has to be really good.
And let me ask this quickly before we move on. Would it be a mistake for the Cardinals to trade back into the first round? Like, they take someone at 3 and they trade back in because they want to go get a pass rusher, whoever that is. Probably not David Bailey or Ruben Bain, but someone of that. Would that be a mistake? Because I've seen that floated as well.
No.
You just can't. I think the reason is just you can't give up a first round pick for next year. You need that.
No, that would be crazy. You can't do that. But if you make a move and you're able to keep that and you get somebody in the, in the 20s or whatever the case may be, like, kudos to you. That is a aggressive. And I think if I'm Monti Ossenfort, that's a scenario in which I say I need to do this. Like, I'm going to be aggressive. I'm going to bulk up our offensive line and defensive line. We saw the 2 teams in the Super Bowl did the same thing, bulked up their offensive line and defensive line. That is a recipe that is going to hold true. And so if I'm Monti, that's a scenario that is on the table for me. How can I be as aggressive as possible? Hit on these draft picks you have to hit, and then move on from there. And if he takes a risk and he nails it, kudos to Monti.
Yeah, see, I am on the other side. This is not what I think should happen, but for complete, like, in a vacuum baloney sandwich setup to make sense, I'd rather them trade out of the first round this year for more capital next year, like not have a first round pick this year, for more capital next year, than do anything to give up picks for next year. It's one of the generational drafts depth-wise, and they need to hit this year and hit next year. I wouldn't leverage anything. It's like drafting Ty Simpson in the second round. I think it's the dumbest idea known to man.
Yep.
I think it's the dumbest thing on the planet. Pass rusher, offensive line, DT, super deep here. You have all of Pandora's box waiting for you in 2027. Don't blow it early.
Let's talk about the other.
There may not be a 2027 for Monti.
That's and that's where it's like, how much is Bidwell going to let him do? But again, those are conversations we can continue to have throughout the week. This is what would have led our show had Monti Ossenfort not dropped that little zinger at his press conference. According to Tony Paulini, Cardinals seem like the favorites to sign Jamil Douglas's guy, Malik Willis. Is it the right move? Will it happen? Let's talk about it next. Today's episode is brought to you by Home Chef. As the new year gets going, a lot of people are trying to simplify their routines, and dinner is a big one. Between busy workdays, cold winter nights, and packed schedules, having an easy, reliable dinner plan makes a huge difference. That's where Home Chef comes in. Home Chef takes the stress out of cooking by delivering fresh, pre-proportioned ingredients right to your door with easy-to-follow recipes that actually taste great. They're rated #1 by users of other meal kits for quality, convenience, value, taste, and recipe ease. And it's easy to see why. Meals come ready to fit your schedule. 30-minute recipes, open-ready trays, or quick lunches. Over 30 weekly options, including family-sized meals and different dietary choices. Everything arrives pre-portioned, so there's less prep, less mess, and no wasted food. Same time and money. Home Chef customers save an average of $86 a month on groceries. For a limited time, Home Chef is offering my listeners 50% off your first box free and free dessert for life. Just go to homechef.com/lockdown. That's homechef.com/lockdown for 50% off your first box, free shipping, and free dessert for life. Must be an active subscriber to receive free dessert. All right, keeping the show rolling. Yesterday, Tony Paulini, who kind of an interesting reporter. If you go check his Twitter bio, the first thing that is on it is how big of a Led Zeppelin fan he is. Not much that he is actually a reporter. And it kind of hit or miss, but this is the time of the year where it seems like he hits. A couple of weeks ago, he was the only person to have Clint Kubiak and the Arizona Cardinals would be meeting, even though Clint Kubiak isn't really that interested in meeting. And yesterday he reported the Cardinals appear to be the favorites to sign Malik Willis. Also mentioned in that the Miami Dolphins would actually not mind Malik Willis. The problem is they're in cap hell and the Arizona Cardinals are not. Jamil, you mentioned this months ago about Malik Willis potentially being the Cardinals quarterback. And now you were a little bit more like bullish about it. Maybe he could be like the actual Cardinals quarterback answer, but this would be a pretty insane pull for you if this actually did happen. You mentioned this like while texting when he was playing the Ravens a few months ago. What's kind of your reaction to this?
Yeah, I mean, it was a shot in the dark at that point. I was just kind of connecting the dots and everything. And that was before the Mike LaFleur hire. So, listen, I know Clancy hates this idea, right? He hates it, but I got to talk about it anyway because I have to stand on my point.
Sure.
For me, there's two sides to this. I saw that Malik Willis is going to command anywhere from 20 to 30 mil a year. I think that is absolutely ridiculous. That is absurd that he's going to get 20 to 30 mil. That being said, if the Cardinals are willing to pay Malik Willis 20 to 30 mil, I think the Cardinals should do it. Why? Yeah, I know, Clancy. I have to listen. I have to, right? Why?
No.
There's weapons on the field. Now, I know I've seen Clancy talk about this. He said the Malik Willis acquiring Malik Willis will be terrible for Trey McBride and all of those other guys that are pass catchers. I personally think it would be great. I think that there is so much. Listen, if the Cardinals sign this guy, it's because they know who they're getting. Why do I say that? Mike LaFleur and Matt LaFleur. There is no shortage of information in terms of scouting this guy. What does he do well? What doesn't he do well? Is he willing to work within an offense? Can he be a drop back guy? We know he can run this offense, or at least versions of it. We know this one's going to be different from everything that we've heard. But I truly believe that if they are willing to pay him that means that they're comfortable with the player that they've been scouting and have given information on. The guy has the ability to move in the pocket. He has the ability to get outside of the pocket. I think that's big, especially given where your offensive line is. You're going to draft a new right tackle. He's not going to be perfect. I could tell you that right now. So you have to get somebody that's going to be mobile. I also think that fixing the run game is not just a one-size-fits-all type of thing. I don't think that you can just bring in, which I hope they don't, a Breece Hall and say our run game is now going to be, top 10 in the league. I don't think that's possible. I think you have to have a quarterback that has the ability to loosen the box up, hold the defensive ends, and kind of, give the running back a two-way lane in terms of if I'm read option or not. And so I personally, look, I don't think that 20 to 30 million is feasible. It doesn't make sense to me, but I do believe that Malik Willis has the ability in throwing the ball and, running this offense that it would be a sight to see. It would be very entertaining. The games that I saw him play this year were entertaining. I like entertainment. The Cardinals have not been entertaining to watch this whole past the year. And so what better story, Coach takes his brother's backup quarterback, installs him in the offense, gives him a lot of different weapons, fixes his run game. Like, it's a great story, Clancy. Just buy into it for once. Jeez.
So it took
Clancy, really quickly.
What?
I was just gonna say, let me even help your argument a little bit here. This was from Ian Rappaport. Well, I think I'm going to. Okay. Ian Rappaport today reported, if New York Jets quarterback Justin Fields gets $20 million a year, what does Malik Willis get? $30 million, $35 million? That's what my guess as to what it would be is, end quote. I'll let you take it from there.
Cool. Thanks. So 50 shows we've done. Jamil finally did a soapbox. That was 12 minutes, just unstopped time. That finally, welcome to the family, bro. Jesus, took 50 50 shows. I've been trying to get your ass to blabble like that the whole time. I'm so happy it's happening. Unfortunately, you're completely wrong. But like, listen, I understand. Let me back up on that. In theory, with what we know about Matt LaFleur, and Mike LaFleur having the same blood as his brother, coming from Sean McVay and Kyle Shanahan, they all kind of run the same offense in some form of fashion. That's a huge leap to say that Mike LaFleur is going to be Matt LaFleur, let alone Kyle Shanahan, let alone Sean McVay. So they have the same offense. That's great. I wear the same color clothes that you do, but I'm sure you look a lot better in them than I do. Okay? So
Clancy, wait.
But hold on. My point is, and I know it's not just numbers, okay? But just the number is, Jacoby Brissett had more passing yards in Week 11 than Malik Willis had in all of 2025. Jacoby Brissett had more passing yards in Weeks 10 through Weeks 13 combined than Malik Willis has had in 4 years. Okay, so this isn't a guy who's ever thrown for volume. This isn't a guy who's ever started more than 2 games at a time. This isn't a guy who's ever made wide receivers happy for more than 120 minutes back-to-back and 2 losses. There is zero concrete evidence that he can be a quarterback for an NFL team for more than 10 minutes.
Sure.
Like, that's just factual. So if we're going on expectation or potential, he's not a senior in college. He's been in the NFL for 4 years and he hasn't been able to sniff the field. Okay? He didn't go to a top 5 team. He went to Liberty. Okay? This isn't a guy who's a reclamation project. He's never been a project. They reached on him when Monti Ossenfort was in the building in Tennessee. Okay? I'm not saying he can't be great at all. What I'm saying is, it's not like there's some sort of proven metric that shows that he can even be competent for more than a couple games in a row, because we haven't seen it. That's just factual that we haven't seen it. So why not why not bring Kyler Murray back? Like he's
hey, listen,
yeah,
I said that too.
I think everyone is on the Kyler.
Like, to be great. I would love for the Cardinals to sign him if he's going to be great. Fantastic. Like, I'm not against that, but also, and my closing argument will be, Mike LaFleur has worked with one avatar of quarterback his entirety of his impactful offensive coaching career, and they look like Jacoby Brissett, not Malik Willis. Skill set, body type, arm level, and I know Malik Willis can throw the ball down the field, but there's 40 targets that need to go between 3 pass catchers. Ain't no way he's going to be able to fulfill on it.
But isn't it fair, Clancy? I saw you made the argument of and it's a good statistic. Like the Week 11, he had more passing yards than Malik Willis had. Whatever.
It's just for a reference, but yeah,
for sure, no, for sure. But what I would say is, the Cardinals had no running game. They are going to draft a running back, and if the Cardinals are throwing 38 times a game with Jacoby Brissett, they're probably losing. I think the Cardinals want to see that number come down to 32, 33 pass attempts a game. So I think you're talking about Malik Willis, and you're talking about, I don't know, Jadarian Price from Notre Dame, who you can get the 3rd round, Francis Mawigoa as your right tackle, and you want to be a more balanced offense. So, and not only that, but like, I just don't, I'm struggling to see the clear risk involved in this, even if it's let's say it's a 3 or $100 million deal. Let's just say it is. Either, let's just say, but that's
why does he deserve it?
I know. Listen, I know.
No one gets what they deserve in free agency. You're getting paid for what you did, not for what you're going. Like,
what has he done?
Listen, there's a lot. What did Sam Darnold have?
What has Malik Willis done to earn $30 million a year? Yeah. What has he done? It's a very simple question.
I think a lot of free agency is, what has this guy done? We're going to overpay him. Like it's what a lot of free agency is. So, but let me
pass rusher, not for a quarterback who hasn't done anything.
But let me paint this picture here as well. 3 years, $100 million. I know it's a ton of money, but if he's great, the Cardinals rebound quickly. If he's bad, like if he's terrible, then the Cardinals draft his replacement next year, and then you're cheap at the quarterback position again. And I would agree. I would think everyone would say the Cardinals aren't Super Bowl contenders next year, so it doesn't matter how much money you got tied up in the quarterback position. And then by year 2 of your rookie quarterback, That contract's mostly done. You're cheap at the quarterback position, and you're smooth sailing. Like, I just don't see the clear negative in this outside of, well, the Cardinals might not be able to sign another guard. What's more important is the quarterback position, especially if you are planning to go right tackle in the draft. You can plug up those spots.
Okay, Jamil, first of all, when is $100 million ever a cheap quarterback? You're going to have a $30 million backup. We just say words here. $100 million. That's what it is. That's what it is. It's $30 million allocated to a quarterback position for a dude that's never been a starting quarterback. Why do I feel like I'm taking crazy pills? Jamil, listen, the one thing we said about Mike LaFleur going into being hired is we have no idea what he's going to be. He's never called plays at an excellent level, at a McVay or Shanahan level. We're not looking for him to do that, but he's never called plays at a Nathaniel Hackett level, okay? Why would you entrust a guy who's never done that on a guy who's never been a starting quarterback in a team that desperately needs to right the ship in a positive direction in some capacity? Why? That's what I don't understand.
No, listen, you're making a great point. And like I said,
I think we all agree on the point too.
Yeah, I don't believe that this is a $20 to $30 million quarterback. And like I'm not trying to justify that at all. All I'm saying is, in terms of, you made the point, like, we don't know that Mike is going to be Matt. I don't need Mike to be Matt. What I do need is my quarterback to understand my system and play faster. So if there are similarities in my system in which I've seen him make this throw, or I've seen him make a check at the line of scrimmage and get us into the play that we canned in the huddle, I can now say, not worth $20, $30 million, but logistically, I can say, I know this guy can run our system and he can do it at a functional level. I don't think functional is $20 to $30 million though. And that's where I do agree with you. But I do believe that Malik Willis can make every throw that you need. I wouldn't pay $30 million for it. Like, and that's a double-edged sword, right? Like, that's a double-edged sword.
Well, to be fair, Clancy, that is cheap in the world of starting quarterback.
Yeah, starting quarterbacks. He's never been a starting quarterback.
But you're paying him to be. You're paying him to be. He's going to be your starter. And sorry.
Anytime he's run for volume, he's lost the game. Any sort of volume. It's just like none of this.
Jacoby threw for volume. Jacoby threw for a bunch of volume last year and lost 11 games.
Yeah, because they had no again.
But that's the point.
Again, also pennies on the dollar for probably. Let me ask you this before we have to go too far off. Let me ask you this 100% and say yes or no.
God, okay? I love you guys, man.
I don't care. You're my sworn enemy today. Probably glass bottom boating somewhere. If Malik Willis signs, is he guaranteed to beat Jacoby Brissett out for the starting job in 2026?
You better.
Yes.
Better if you give him 30.
You start him no matter what, even if Jacoby Brissett beats him in camp.
Yes.
Yeah.
That sounds completely functional. That's good.
I think so. Listen, the alternative is, like I said, bring Kyler Murray back.
What a mess. What a mess that would be.
That's the alternative. You bring Kyler Murray back and you make this an open competition. And if you don't like him, you don't like him. You cut him at the end of training camp.
They got to do Hard Knocks if Kyler Murray comes back. They've got to do Hard Knocks, bro. There's no way.
If I'm a first-time head coach, I'm declining every media availability in my building because
I'm a 10-year head coach. I'm declining. It's stupid.
Yeah, I mean, unless you're Buffalo, like Buffalo's great on Hard Knocks, but outside of that, no, I wouldn't do it. But no, in all seriousness, listen, I like the Malik Willis thing. I don't like the number that comes with it.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Again, that's the risk that you take in terms of this quarterback market now. You're paying the guy to be a starter. You wish you could get him at 15, 10 to 15, and that's even a lot in terms of what he's done. But the games that I've watched, he's been entertaining. I'll say that.
It would give us way more entertainment next year.
I would love to speculate. I would love to speculate what we're going to see from Malik Willis in training camp. Like,
I'd rather Ben sign for $1,000 a game, and just that'd be entertaining.
Now that's high. That I don't stand by that number either.
We'll pay him in
complete a couple of passes.
Flintstones.
I got some zip.
Vitamins.
I got Kenny Pickett hands though, so that's not great. Let's
believe that.
Well,
probably great at the Oklahoma drill though. So
let's move on to some of the extension talk. Monti Ossenfort was asked about extensions on both Michael Wilson and Paris Johnson Jr. Where do we land on that? And does it have to happen this offseason? Let's talk about that next. Today's episode is brought to you by the folks over at FanDuel. Everyone experienced the NBA Finals live and in person. FanDuel is giving you the chance to turn that dream into reality with their NBA sweepstakes. Here's how it works. Use your profit boost on any NBA future, and you'll automatically be entered for a chance to win a shot at the NBA Finals trip for two. That's right. Flights, tickets, the whole shebang. If you're already looking at the board and thinking about which teams can make a deep run, this is the perfect time to lock it in. I love futures this time of the year, whether it's picking a team to win the championship or grab a conference title. It adds that extra layer of excitement to every game down the stretch. And now, not only can your pick cash, but it can also send you to the NBA Finals. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. Use your profit boost on the NBA future and get entered for your chance to win a trip to the NBA Finals. Play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Keeping the show rolling, we saw some questions asked about Paris Johnson Jr. and Michael Wilson, the extension talk. It didn't seem like maybe to me, maybe not to you, Clancy or Jamil, that it didn't seem as definite that these two things were going to definitely get done. Feel like they expressed interest in it. Do you think that's a mistake on Monti Ossenfort's part to not come out and immediately say, we want to make sure these are a priority. We want to make sure these get done this offseason, Clancy?
Michael Wilson isn't their priority. The draft is their priority. Free agency is their priority. He 1 year left on his rookie deal. You can make an argument that says, even though I've said, pay him this offseason, you dummies. Pay him this offseason, you dummies, before he turns into Christian Kirk money where he's getting $70 million guaranteed elsewhere. Pay him.
That was crazy.
I don't think he's a priority. Paris Johnson Jr. has got 1 year left. Well, he's got 2 years left on his deal, going into year 4. Okay, so I wouldn't extend Paris this offseason. Spend the money, keep it moving. And for me, my biggest question is to you guys, both guys going into their 4th year, last year of their deal. Would you rather extend this offseason Garrett Williams or Michael Wilson? Garrett Williams, injury, 2 years out of his first 3. Michael Wilson, breakout year last year. A lot of it was garbage time, but still produced where Marv couldn't. Who is more important, or who is a more bankable guy to extend this offseason with everything we've seen up until this point?
Michael Wilson.
Now, is that recency bias? Or do you think that that's – because I agree, and then I thought about it. It's like Garrett Williams was the #1 rated zone corner by Pro Football Focus 2 years ago. So he's reached a mountaintop that Michael Wilson hasn't, but he's hurt.
Sure. Yeah, and the best ability is availability. That is something that has been preached in football. And also, listen, we got to look at receivers for exactly what they are. It takes a special receiver to go in and play day in and day out the way that Michael Wilson has played, and they've been getting beat. Like, receivers usually hang it up. Receivers usually grab the hamstring and say, I'll just chalk it up and I'll be back next year. This guy ain't doing that. And unfortunately, if you don't pay him this year, it's going to be I don't want to say Jamar Chase numbers, but the Jamar Chase situation, and where you should have paid him and he is going to command a outstanding number because the trajectory he's on is, I truly believe that he is wide receiver 1 for this team. Again, like I said, Marvin will play X. Michael Wilson will be option 1 outside of Trey McBride in terms of receiver. So I think, him being on the field, him not being, injured like Garrett Williams has been, and that's not a knock on him. The game is what the game is. But I think Michael Wilson is a guy that you got to take into account the games that they've been playing in and the way that he plays as a receiver. When you have the right mentality as a wide receiver, you got to pay for that because those guys don't come around very often.
Yeah, I mean, you could tell. Like, he's been the underdog his entire life.
Yeah.
You could tell. He doesn't have a last name. He had no expectations. People thought it could have been a reach in the third round to get him out of Stanford because Stanford's not a football school anymore. All the dude has done over the last year and a half, when given the opportunity, has produced. So I would agree.
It would be, how about we paint it like this? The optics of paying Garrett Williams over Michael Wilson would be pretty terrible for Monti Ossenfort, who has hitched his wagon to a lot of players who have injury concerns. So to see him, if you got to pick between one of them, hitch his wagon to the player who's torn an ACL, had a leg injury again this year, missed games, came back, then got injured again. That, for a guy that's, brought in Justin Jones, who never played, or Bilal Nichols, who never played, or Walter Nolan, who was injured, and Darius Robinson, who got injured. Like, I think it would be better, even just optically, for him to say, guys, I understand I made the mistake. I'm committing to the more healthier player. But, I mean, that's a good conversation to be had, too. Shouldn't all three guys kind of be priorities? Like,
well,
couldn't you technically be buying low on Garrett Williams? Like you are buying low with Michael Wilson?
You got there, which is good. So it's because of the injuries, that's going to be the best leverage point for the Cardinals come contract time. He's not going to reset any market. That's going to be Cooper DeJean, who's going to reset the slot corner market. Okay. And Garrett Williams would have. The problem is they chose Max Melton and passed on Cooper DeJean because they had Garrett Williams. So if you don't pay Garrett Williams and you miss out on Cooper DeJean, and it looks like you missed out on Max Melton, unless Nick Rallis can find a way to resurrect his career because he was kind of doghouse last year, that is an absolute cluster bleep of Arizona Cardinal proportions. So they've got to figure it out. Yeah, I would pay him both this offseason, but I'm not resetting the market for anybody. With Paris, Jamil, he's going to be the Cardinal for the next 12 years. You have to pay him this year. You'd be like, you just give him a fist bump. He went 6th overall. He's making plenty of cheese for a rookie or, a third-year guy. And you re-sign him next year when you've got more balloon cap space. When Kyler's off the books.
Yeah, no, 100%. I agree with Paris. I think you wait, and that's not a knock on him, but I do believe that the right thing to do is wait, let him play out another year, and then you back. I don't want to say back up the Brinks truck, but you back up a truck for him.
A small Brinks truck.
Listen, Michael Wilson. If you wait, that Brinks truck is going to be. It's going to be a couple of them. And so I think that's a guy that would be, if I'm Monty, I'm coming out. Listen, Monty, if you're watching, doubt you are. If you see this, I would have came out and said, listen, he is so important in what we do as an offense. He is a priority for us. Not only are you reassuring that you appreciate the way that a guy goes and plays every single Sunday at the receiver position, you're also telling our guy, the X, hey, this is who we value. Yes, we value this. If you see yourself as being an NFL caliber, number one receiver, we need this out of you as well. And so I feel like he missed the mark on that. I would have came out and said straight up that this guy is so valuable in what we do. Our offense would not be the same without him, because I think that tells other guys in the receiver room, specifically Marvin Harrison Jr., that, we need you to step up to the plate with this.
Yeah. And I mean, I think so. Let's do fun. Let's be Michael Giannetti from Spot Track. 3-year 36, 27 guaranteed, $9 million a year, something like that. I don't think he's worth more than that. He's not a 15 or 17 million a year guy. Plus, Jamil, ask me about this. Talk to me about this. A guy who's drafted in the 3rd round, who's made $11 compared to a first round guy. Mm-hmm. Is he willing to take less in his first deal, especially if he's younger, where he'll be out by 27 to go get another more lucrative one? Is he more willing to take less, or does he need to take more because he's missing out? With that said, Michael Wilson's only produced for about 11 weeks in his career at the level that we have.
Yeah. It's a good question because, he's had to get it out the mud, essentially, and so I think that you can't short him, but also, a guy like Michael Wilson isn't going to say, oh, I've got at least, 8 more years, 7 more years left in my career because of where they've come from, So I think you got to pay him. I don't know that he'll be like, yo, this is a time where I'll give you guys a discount. I don't think he's going to try to hit the Cardinals over the head, but you got to compensate him for what he's worth.
Well,
So
isn't that
you think 3 for 36 is enough? You think 10 mil a year with 2 years in and an opt out in the third year, which is
I think 10. I think 10 a year is a great spot to be at with him.
So you don't think that's you think that's the porridge is just right?
Yeah, it's not 15. It's not your 18 a year. Like I think 10
Kirk got
is
20.
Yeah,
that was when Jacksonville they had so much money to spend.
100%. Like that was an anomaly, So, but I think that 10 to 12 range for him. Obviously, you're basing it off the last 11 games. I think that's a good spot. Listen, you got to go off his track record. This guy hasn't been a problem. He's been on the field. Like he's dependable. You can see the way that he plays. Go ahead and reward that.
The Michael Wilson contract thing is also really interesting because the Cardinals have a chance to not only have one of the best weapon cores if Marvin Harrison Jr. ever does figure it out, even just to a wide receiver one semblance. Trey McBride is a tight end. He obviously makes a lot, but tight ends don't nearly make as much as wide receivers do. So your wide receiver one makes a fraction of what Justin Jefferson makes. Marvin Harrison Jr. is on a rookie deal. And then Michael Wilson, you could lock down for $12 million a year. Like it's also a chance for them to be really economically viable at their weapon spot. And I think it's something as well Monti Ossenfort should definitely try to get done. Let's move over to expectations for 2026. Now that we've seen Mike, seen Monty speak, we've made some predictions of the draft. Let's talk about that next. So this is kind of a fun way to project early on in the offseason before free agency begins, before the NFL Combine really actually begins, where guys start running around in the Underwear Olympics, and then the NFL Draft, all those things. What do we think the expectation is for the Cardinals next year? Like, what if Malik Willis is here? What would it look like? I think at this point, all of us would say, I don't know, could they win 4 games? But with what we've heard, is that changing the way that you anticipate next year, Clancy?
I think it's more of an angle of what do they want their expectations to be? Like, what do they want to get out of 2026? So if they want to try and splash, surprise some people, go from worst to first, you see Walter Nolan, who's reportedly been in the facility working out every day, working towards getting back. If everybody's healthy going into 2026 and you bring in Malik Willis, it's like, hey, they're gonna swing. Those expectations are significantly different than if they're just going to roll with Jacoby Brissett and hope everybody's healthy by the end of the year. So what I think their expectations are is not going backwards. And for people who are like, damn, how can you go backwards from 3-11 or 3-14? Oh boy, Alberto, you can. Trust me, you definitely can. I've witnessed it multiple times during my now going on 10 years covering this damn team for this podcast. Not go backwards. Build something like Jonathan Gannon did in 2023, but with more wins involved, because they're going to have a significantly better roster than what JG had to deal with in 2023 with Josh Dobbs at quarterback. So it seems elementary and it seems popperish and like low bar. Don't bleep it up. Even if you don't move, don't go backwards.
Yeah, no, you took the point.
Damn it.
Straight out of my mouth. Listen, it's going to be better than last year, I hope.
But it has to be. It's
has
not
to
like
be.
No.
Well,
it doesn't have to be.
Wait a second. If they win 3 games next year, Monti Ossenfort's getting fired.
Sure, that's great. And the
has to
Cardinals
be.
have the top overall pick, and they'll get to draft whoever they want. This year's a win-win for us. And the
Unless
fans.
they win 6 games.
Listen, I think let's set a realistic expectation. We don't know what the quarterback position is going to look like, right? I think that's the biggest question mark for me. That being said, I think if you run it back with Jacoby, I believe that this team wins more than 3 games. Like I would have to think that just off of schematics and coaching alone on offense, I would hope that, you know, they are putting themselves in a better position to win games. This is so they're not going to the playoffs. I don't want to put the
hell no.
I don't want to put that out there. If they do, I promise you guys, I will go outside and smash my laptop in the street. That would be great. That would be great for all of us. And hopefully Ben buys me a new one.
That's the least he could do
with his with his salary that the Cardinals pay him. Listen, it's going to be, without it being a rebuild, this is a rebuild type of year. Like, they've got to get on the right track. We've got to see them, playing aggressive. We've got to see the guys who are supposed to make plays. And we got to see what the quarterback position looks like. I can't really give you anything until after the draft, after free agency has happened. Then I feel like I have a better idea of what the ceiling or what the floor looks like for this team. But they're going to be in a rebuild process depending on, what they do. And that's okay. That's what, I think everyone understands that, but you can't go out and put up a 3-win season. I think, 7-8 wins for this team. And you're looking at it like, okay, we're getting on the right track here.
Yeah. 7-8 wins. That'd be great. Ain't gonna happen. I mean, like for you,
God, their schedule is rough too.
Yeah, they got a 571 strength of schedule in a last place schedule, which is great because of the division. Jamil, like for me, if we're going to quantify it, I'm not going to do it wins and losses. I'm going to do it in, you need to know exactly what you need to draft in 2027 and where your stars are. I said this going into 2023 as well, because 2027 is a stocked pond of young, really good talent across the board. So you need to know where your stars are. You need to know where your biggest flaws are, so you can 100% just fill those holes in free agency in the draft in 2027 and be off. Because who knows? Michael LaFleur could be 2 and done. We have no idea. Everything's on the table at this point. But you need to signify who the best players are on this team, and that's with having a stable offseason and a stable draft going into the year and have some good coaching, all of which we have no idea is going to happen.
Yeah, that would be tragic if he's a 2 and done type of guy. That would be
for sure.
Jeez.
I know we all say going 3-14, going 4-13 is like one of the best case scenarios for the Cardinals. And in a vacuum, it is. Going 3-14 sucks. Watching a team get their head beat in for 18 weeks and they eke out a win, I don't know, middle of season against the freaking Tennessee Titans. Like, it's not, I don't know, dude. I don't know, because they were supposed to beat the Titans last year. They didn't either.
Yep.
But like, it sounds nice until you have to actually watch it. I don't think the Cardinals are going to win 3 games next year. I think they're going to win 6.
Oh, I thought you were going less than that.
No, hell no, dude. This team's not anywhere. This team is not going anywhere near the playoffs. Like, forget about being a playoff team. They're not close to 3rd place in their own division. Sure. Like, can they win? I think they're going to try to do their best to win 6 games because Monty has to. Like, I'm not talking about what I want or whatever. Like, from what it seems like, they're going to empty out the clip when it comes to this money. They're going to spend every last dollar they can. I mean, they're talking about trying to get Malik Willis and Breece Hall. And it's like, why? One or the other. And then they're going to try to do more than that. I think they are going to win 6 games next year and try to pawn that off to you that, hey, we're starting to do this. And that Malik Willis is their lottery ticket. Because if Malik Willis is awesome, we agree this team has pieces and they could win 8 games. And then after that, it could, be different. But
do you know how many conditional things you just said in that sentence? If he is awesome, they could win. We have no idea if he's even average.
That's why I say, we know he's average.
Why?
Because he looked good this year when he played.
So that's like saying Colt McCoy 2 years ago, because he went 2-1 in the NFC West. It's like, oh, you know what? Let's give him the keys to the castle. It's such a small sample size. Listen, I'd much rather them sign Breece Hall than Malik Willis. Like, if we're going to do that, I'd much rather them overpay Breece Hall than overpay Malik Willis. And you give Jacoby Brissett, Breece Hall, a new right tackle, Marvin Harrison Jr., Trey McBride, and Michael Wilson. Sign me the bleep up for 5 wins of that. Sign me up.
I don't like Breece Hall to fix my run
You have
game.
him as a combo back with Trey Benson or whoever it is. Like
for $11 million
Breece Hall has
a year.
been in some of the worst offenses in the history of football since he's been there. Garrett Wilson does it. He's like, oh, look, I could do it. It's like, no, it's not. You're a unicorn. You're an alien. It doesn't count. But Ben, I agree with what you're saying. And that's a lot of ifs that we have no idea about. And I'm not saying about telling the future. That's like saying, oh, you could get hit by a car tomorrow, so you shouldn't go outside. It's like, shut up. But with that, 4 years, he had a chance. And he had a really good chance to start for Will Levis. They gave him a chance to give him the hook real quick in Tennessee.
Strong eye roll, Jamil. That's a strong.
No, it wasn't an eye roll. It wasn't an eye roll.
I think it was like a side eye.
It wasn't an eye roll. That Tennessee situation. I mean, I was not there for that, but from what I've heard, he had a hard time grasping the concept of the offense.
Good.
Yeah.
That makes you feel better.
Well, hey, yeah, but listen, that's the reality of what the quarterback position is in the NFL sometimes. I mean, we never heard that about Will Levis, but he also threw picks every time he was on the field. So
he also had mayonnaise with his coffee.
Sure. Yeah, whatever. My thing is I think I don't even know where we were going with that, but I will say that about the Tennessee thing. I think he was young. I think it was complex given where he went to college at. This system was it was not an easy system to run. And so spending time as a backup quarterback sometimes is the best thing that you can do. And the fact that he's still in the league, says something, especially backing up, Jordan Love. That's another conversation, but I do believe that there's a reason why he's been there. And I think that he has a better understanding for the game of football, given the way he's been coached for the last few years.
Yeah. So let me give you your closing argument, completely defacing what I've said for 57 minutes. Bryce Young. He sat behind Andy Dalton for like 3 weeks. He got Dave Canales, sat behind Andy Dalton for a couple weeks. He was borderline MVP 2 years ago, the last 6 weeks. They torched the Cardinals for a 30-burger and got them out of the playoffs in overtime. And he got the Panthers to the playoffs this year and should have beat the Rams in that playoff game. Like, they should have beat the Rams. So that's the counterpoint. I know he's smaller. He's not Malik Willis. That's not what I'm talking about. You have a young quarterback who looked like an absolute bust at 1 overall and now looks like he is one of the most cerebral quarterbacks in the NFL, where he uses his body type and his pocket presence and all that stuff that people say Malik Willis is good at to his advantage, and they won a whole bunch of games this year. Regardless of
and the Sam Darnold winning the Super Bowl has, whether we want to say it or not, it is going to change the way that teams value and evaluate quarterbacks because of his journey to getting there. Like, they're so quick to write some of these guys off. We see, Daniel Jones, that could have looked like Daniel Jones' Super Bowl year all the way up until he got hurt, but these quarterbacks are going to get chances now. Like, they're going to hang around. They're going to stick around because of what Sam Darnold's career has looked like. So I would not be surprised if a guy like Malik Willis gets a shot to be a starter.
But it's not the same. Sam Darnold started for 2 years. Malik Willis he started 5 games and there's 7 games in his career.
Right. But I'm saying in terms of the longevity of their career, they're going to get evaluated differently. And
Sam Darnold signed a 1-year, $10 million deal to go to Minnesota, not 2 for $50. Sure. Or whatever Malik Willis is going to get.
Listen, before we end the show, I will tell you I do not like the $20 to $30 million deal, but I do like the idea.
Okay.
Well, listen, we've all bought a wedding ring before. Well, not Clancy. Me and Jamil bought a ring before. Listen, wedding rings are a little expensive, but the quarterbacks, just like a wife, is always worth it. in the end. So with
You
that
don't
being
get to
said,
give metaphors anymore.
It's good.
With
You
that
must
being
be in
said-
you must be in the doghouse right now. Or something. That's a
with
good-
that being said,
that's a
hit
good
that
one.
like, share,
You
subscribe.
started
button.
it.
Follow us on all social media platforms down in the episode description below. You can also find those in the show notes if you're watching on audio. Thank you so much for tuning into the Cardinals Squad Show, and have a heck of a week. We'll see you guys on Friday at 4 p.m.